Welcome to Ask a Teen. I'm your host, Elizabeth Whalley. There's lots of questions we could ask teens, and we're lucky to have 6 teens here to ask. They're Aris, Michelle, Daniel, Nate, Elan, and Ori. Welcome to the show. To get started, the first question I have for you is, there's a stereotype about teenagers that you guys prefer online conversations, communications to real live ones, to hanging out. Is it true?
No, I think it's false. I mean, when I was like a freshman in high school, I was like when I first got my first iPhone, so it was like a big like excitement about that, and I was like, oh my god, like I have a telephone and I can text people, and like Kik and Snapchat and Instagram and all of those like social media platforms like emerged around the same time and were like big. And I think, but then now because like the hype kind of died down, like I'm a little bit older now, I like when I'm driving I prefer to like call my friends so like, we can still talk and stuff like that instead of like
texting while you're
instead
driving.
of texting. No, we don't text while driving. We don't do that.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm 100% sure. I'd like to live and I'd like the people around me to like not get injured.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree with Michelle on that. Like, I personally just, if by choice, I would like call people. Like, I just personally, that makes me feel more comfortable than just texting. Yeah. It gives me a sense of like communication, like more direct communication than texting.
Yeah, and then you can like make more plans and be like, oh yeah, let's hang out. Yeah. And then it's like over verbal and there's no like miscommunication that always happens over time.
Oh yeah, because you can't tell when someone's being sarcastic or not unless they explicitly say sarcasm.
Yeah.
So like there's like that miscommunication. You can interpret something as one way when they actually meant it this way. So at least with conversation or like direct phone calls, you can like understand like the tone of their voice to understand when they're being serious.
Yeah, because like emoticons also like play a big role in everything.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm lazy, I'll text. If I'm not lazy, I'll call.
Yeah. I personally also prefer video chat too. That's another conversation.
Yeah, I like FaceTime because it's like face to face and you can tell how the person's feeling most of the time unless their face is not showing on the camera. It's also better than texting because I don't know, I just like hearing like the other person and like their emotions because you can't really feel that from text, and that's why I like talking on the phone more than messaging.
Personally, I mean, I feel like calling someone's like you can't hide like over text, like they don't know how you're feeling, they don't you're kind of hiding behind like a tree or something like that, and like on a call like you're saying what you're saying in your tone of your voice, like the volume of it. If you're like you're being quiet or if you're being loud and aggressive, I think that just changes everything up.
Yeah, I don't really know where the stereotype comes from, and like I feel like a lot of my grandparents think that and stuff, but honestly, like pretty much all my friends and I do is like plan, you know, our next hangout time, when we're gonna be out on the weekends and stuff, you know, having fun. Yeah, but it's not a lot of texting for me.
Cool. Okay. What's the coolest app I should have on my phone?
Snapchat.
Everyone says Snapchat.
YouTube.
I would say Instagram because
but like Instagram you don't post on.
No, but
like,
Instagram combines both Snapchat and like the sense of
because it's
Facebook.
stole from Snapchat.
Well,
true,
I feel like,
but,
I personally think that like, to me, even though like I'm in 8th grade and stuff, like Snapchat was extremely confusing to me, like kind of useless in a sense. Like why? Like I feel like social media is like a way to like share what you're doing right now in life and stuff, and like with the Instagram stories thing, you could do that without having to do like download a whole different app, which takes up a bunch of like space in your phone and stuff. Like while also you can post and like show like, photos and like stuff like that, you know.
I'd say Snapchat's the best because there's filters where you can like change your appearance, change your voice and your tone. And
I think it's like overall more fun and like
it's more fun than Instagram.
It was really branded towards like our generation.
Yeah,
too, so
for sure.
it made a really good like job of branding itself.
Oh, cool. Can you share any trendy words or phrases?
Ooh.
Oof is a big one right now.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah. It's usually described like just when something's just like, oh yeah, gone wrong, and just like, oh yeah, I got like a C on the test. Oof, you know.
Yeah, that's like a big one.
What about sus?
Oh yeah, sus is like suspicious. It's like, but it's like an abbreviation. It's not really like a word that we made up.
That's true. Yeah.
Like finesse is another one that you could use.
I mean, most of the slang nowadays is just like either like it's like mostly really inappropriate. I feel like it's just like
Or it's like abbreviations.
abbreviations and stuff. It's like most of like you know LOL and like LMAO and that stuff. You know.
We're not gonna go there. We also have bruh. It's just
bruh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Help.
That's
What are we saying?
I mean, it's basically just like, oh yeah, brother, bro.
Oh,
you know?
bro, yeah.
It's not like bro though, because
It's
you
just
can
got
like-
bro, she's not bro, just like
bro.
literally.
and the way you
Or
say
like
it means
it's like
different
dude,
things
or like
too.
come on, like what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, it's like it means a lot of different things depending on how you say it.
Yeah.
So like you say like bro or like bruh, and like it depends on however like you say it. It's like
It's
oh my god, I have
it's the
something
manner
to tell
of
you,
it,
and like
know?
people just
it's
know
the
that.
manner of it.
Yeah.
But it's the way you dress someone directly.
Yeah, like bro.
Yeah, and
like,
it could
yeah.
be affectionate or it could be.
affectionately.
I got another one. I got another word. Yeet.
Oh my god.
Slightly outdated.
It's like 2 weeks ago. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I've also used the word squad fam a couple of
Oh,
times.
it's so last year. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a little bit outdated,
That was
but
definitely last year.
that was last year, but it still is slang word.
Oh, okay. Is there any word that if your parents use it, it would sound odd?
Lit.
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 Oh,
Lit.
My dad.
In the context, in a certain context, like if they said like literature lit, like American lit or whatever, then it would be appropriate. But like in
Just like, oh,
how
yeah.
we use it,
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like, oh
it's-
yeah, that dinner was lit. You know?
like yeah, or
Yeah.
like yeah.
Oh, my dad recently just discovered like abbreviations and stuff, and he always like whenever we use a text, he always used to say okay, okay, and then one day he just texted me K.
Oh god.
I was like, Dad, I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah.
Stop
My dad recently discovered Snapchat, so you know that's a whole different realm.
Yeah.
What do you think you should learn more of at school? And what do you think you should learn less of at school?
For
We should.
like future like seniors and stuff like that, like we need to learn about like taxes
taxes.
and like
I
how to
agree.
like buy property and how to like do all these like economical things, like how to get a job, how to make yourself marketable for like jobs, like just kind of more like career path things, and not focus on like calculus. And that's like if you're going into engineering, calculus is really helpful. But then there's people who are just going into calculus to get into a UC to do an arts major. And that just kind of doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but one of my teachers recently told me that the California Department of Education recently made it a requirement for all high schools in California to have at least a one semester economics course mandatory for everyone. And I feel like that's great. That's a great first step. But
Take it during senior year, yeah.
yeah, I feel like a 5-semester course isn't enough to prepare most people. So I'm taking like 2 extra business classes, and you know, I'm still just a sophomore, and I feel like that's just what I want to do in life. But I feel like if everybody took those kinds of courses, it would benefit them as well. Like anything related to money, that's relevant to everybody. Unlike, you know, art or science, where, you know,
Math.
the minimum is
I
enough.
feel like people disregard any courses like that if it doesn't have like the AP label on it. Like I know
yeah.
people that would like say would pass a regular course or a regular class just because it's not AP, which I think is really stupid.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of like regular classes don't get full or like get
Yeah.
filled up. So I think that's a discussion in itself.
I
again.
feel one of the classes that I don't feel like is needed as much, especially with like modern day technology, is like language classes like Spanish and French, and like when you have like a like Google Translate type of thing, or like a app that you can just be like, oh, type in English and like it comes out in like Japanese or something like that. It's just, I feel like I just don't feel like it's needed as much. Like if you want to take it, go ahead. I'm fine with that. But I feel like it should be an optional class rather than required.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with that. I think learning a new language is actually pretty important because sure, you can use Google Translate, but learning the language by itself is a whole different experience that's actually really good for the future. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah, I agree with him.
Another class that I feel like is also like literature. Like I love reading books, but I feel like we don't need to like overanalyze a book that's just kind of like has no real hidden meaning and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, also, like, sometimes, like, the teachers pick books that are, like, like, they're classic books, but some of them, like, there's books like The Great Gatsby that I loved, and then Call to the Wild, or, like, Into the Wild, my bad. But, like, they're really good books, and they're really, like, grasping, But then there is also books like The House on Mango Street, where it's like no one knows, like it just.
It's
That
meaningless.
was like
It's
the
just a
hard. That was
diary.
like that like really cost my lit grade because I was just like it was just really I love the book. It was a really fun read, but it was just so confusing because it had no real plot at all. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like a confusing plot line.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question about school. Are there different cliques or social groups in your school? And which one or ones are you in?
Oh God. I mean,
Well, the school that I go to, it's like very small. Like it's like 50 kids per grade and stuff, and like we're all really close as a grade. But then you also have like the smaller units and stuff, like the smaller cliques as you described it. Like you have like the athletic people, and then you have like kind of like the gamers. You don't really want to do that stuff, and then you have like the theater crowd, and yeah.
In my school, it's also it became really mixed in high school. In middle school, you will really see only athletes in this group, and only artists in this group. But I feel like in high school it all combined, and people started sort of being more open-minded. And that's why like we see a lot of mixed groups nowadays compared to what we seen in middle school and stuff like that. Yeah.
people now, like in high school, like I've noticed, like just kind of get together because of personality types now.
Yeah.
So it's like you make friends that are like have the same personality as you, and like are really outgoing like you are, or like maybe you're like in a more shy group or like a more like introverted group, and you kind of just do like things like separate but together at the same time. So I think people are like in high school you kind of realize who you are, and it's like a big thing because then you like know who you want to surround yourself with. You want to surround yourself with people who carry this aspect but not this, like not this straight.
Do you want to say what groups you're in?
I'm kind of in like the athletic crowd, I guess. Where like we're always playing sports at lunch because I just feel like that's a really fun thing to do, like to have like to do something like a physical activity. Like I think that's really fun to do, like just like kind of like free yourself of like the stress of just sitting down, and like just talking about stuff that like you don't really want to talk about as a kid and as like a child in a way. It's just you want to run around and be free, and I feel like that's what I love about sports. You can just be free.
Yeah,
I'm more in, like-
I'm in the athlete group because me and all my friends, we play sports, not like just at school, but we play like outside of school, and we all really love sports, and we're all like really, really fit.
All right. Way to flex on us.
Yeah, I'm more in like an outgoing group, like outdoorsy adventure, like do something every single weekend, go drive, do something crazy type group.
Same.
Okay. Speaking of groups, are drugs and alcohol a thing at your school?
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
What do you think about it?
All right. So our school has a problem with fire alarms, and I can go. Let me get started. There's a whole lot of like sub stories in this big kind of story, but the point is our school has a problem with fire alarms, and it used to happen it still kind of happens frequently, but like at one point during this year we had like a fire alarm almost every other day, or every at least like 3 times a week or 2 times a week. It got so bad. And a big part of it was not only like academic dishonesty and trying to like get the better grade or whatever, because that's also a problem at our school, but vaping is another huge problem in our school.
There was actually a sign posted at the high school that was like, it's not the bathroom, it's the vape room. So
That's so great.
and I mean, no, not really. Like I talked to my mom about it, and she actually emailed the principal, which never got back to her about it, because it's kind of like you're sending your kid to the space where like you hope that they're like are staying safe and like kind of like not like exposed to it, but like if they are exposed, like there is precaution taken to it. But like it kind of happened, and it just kind of doesn't make people like parents comfortable with like sending their kids to like public high schools now.
I actually don't go to the bathrooms at school
Yeah.
because there's like 30 people that go in and just Juul, vape, set off fire alarms with their Juul. And it's uncomfortable to be in a setting like that because they're just, either smoking, taking
like,
drugs around you.
Yeah.
It's
If you're
not
like
fun.
in the same, because like if you're in the bathroom there, like people can assume that like you're in the same crowd as them, and like then you'll get in trouble for it. Yeah.
So back in middle school, like back in 7th grade, I went to the bathroom during a math test because I already finished it, and it smelled so heavily of marijuana. And I told my math teacher, and he didn't do anything about it. He said okay, and he didn't do anything about it, and I was just kind of disappointed.
I'm confused why teachers don't help out as much as they can.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a fair statement, but just at my school, there might be a law that they can't go in the bathrooms that we go in because I don't know why, but I don't feel like our school is doing that much about it.
Personally, you go.
I feel like in my school, they actually take it really seriously compared to most other schools, from what I heard. We have, recently, we had an assigned boys' bathroom guide and girls' bathroom guide who was basically going around the whole campus into different bathrooms and then sort of checking, making sure there's no scent of marijuana or vape or anything
Isn't
like
that kind
that.
of like an invasion of like privacy in a way? Because like I feel like I understand like it's a public bathroom and all, but like you don't really want like have people just being paid to go in and like look at you taking a dump. You know, like, I don't feel like that's really comfortable.
I mean, there's stalls for that,
Yeah.
but
I mean, yeah, but still, like, there was, I did the assignment for one of my classes that was called, like, BS jobs, essentially. And it was, like, these jobs that are created because of an issue, but they're not really necessary. So I think it's kind of like, and it comes out of, like, because all of educational stuff comes out of, like, our, like, taxpayers' money, so we're paying, like, this person to go into bathrooms and smell things. So it's kind of, like, not that useful of a job, and I don't think it's, like, I mean, yes, it's a good idea to have because, like, it gives students that comfortable ability to go to the bathroom and be like, oh, I can actually breathe in here, versus like, oh, I am overpowered by like all the senses of smell.
I feel like everything that you said about, you know, everything that everybody said so far about, you know, vape products and so on, it sort of all relates to the war on drugs, and I feel like the war on drugs is currently more active in like teenagers than ever before because of all these new vape products, and they're becoming really popular. And ultimately, it's even, I feel like even if people fight it, well, I don't support vaping in any way or anything like that, but I feel like if we keep on fighting, it'll ultimately might even create more problems, because I feel like, I don't know, if people just kind of ignore the trend, it will die off eventually. But if we keep like trying to like enforce it, people are gonna think it's, you know, it's cool to do it because it's breaking the law or something like that.
But like essentially what they're trying to do with vapes is like the same thing we've done with cigarettes, like having all of these warning labels on it, because one jewel pod essentially is equal to a pack of cigarettes. And people go through these things in a day or two. Some people can go through these because it doesn't feel as harmful, but it still has nicotine products, it's still addictive. And it just, yeah, and it's just kind of like scary that like you're seeing this around, like, and sometimes it's your friends that are doing it, and it's kind of like, it's really concerning.
Like there's all these like fun flavors, like all these like
And it's
cotton candy, like it's like
Yeah.
engaging, like it
Yeah,
seems
and
like
it's
It's designed for like it's designed for like
It's designed for young
teenagers.
adults
Yeah.
according to the companies, but like,
But-
is it really designed for young adults, or is
No,
it marketed
no.
to the teens?
It's marketed to the teens.
This is a hard question to ask, but I'm going to ask you guys. There's been a lot of shootings in schools lately. Do you fear that? What is your feeling, reaction, thoughts?
Oh,
I have classes, I attend the college classes at Las Positas College, and last year we had a warning because there was someone that was suspected to have a gun on campus. It ended up just being like one of those Nerf guns that looked like a real gun, but it was really, really scary because we were all in a classroom, and these classrooms have really big windows, and there wasn't really any like a high school where it's like there is like desks and you can hide and stuff like that. It was a really big open space, so I mean it was really, really scary because it was for 2 hours we were locked in these classrooms. No one could leave. We were getting messages from like the campus security, but it was really, really scary because we were texting all our parents and family and like friends, and we're like, so this is happening. Like it was really scary because we didn't know if we were like, are we gonna be okay? It was like a big thing.
yeah, so in my high school, my math teacher, I think he takes the most precaution. So he found out a way how to prevent a door from being like breached by an active shooter. And it's really interesting because he actually spent time and effort to make sure that his students are going to be okay. And that's, out of all my teachers, that's the only teacher that really cares about our safety if pretend a school shooter would come. Because sure, it's a drill, but you should really prepare for the real thing. Because if you're more prepared, then there's a higher chance of you surviving a shooting.
At my school, we do take a lot of precautionary measures, but but I feel like it's not really a worry because like I go to a private school and stuff, and it's like the security there is like pretty heavy, and like it's a close-knit community of friends and family, and it's mostly pretty. It's like really tight security, and like there's like a bunch of gates and that stuff. So
Our school has that story.
We had a lockdown at our school. Somebody threatened to shoot down the school or something like that.
Yeah.
Freshman year at Amador, we had a bomb threat. So the entire school got evacuated because it was really, really early in the morning with just the APR people that got there. And we were all sitting in the front of the lawn, and like there was police, and it was like really, really scary.
It happened like it was like right after lunch. It was like there was like an announcement. I wasn't really paying it. Nobody was really paying attention because we were just getting to class. And then my like 5th period teacher was like, "Get in the classroom, go, go, go." And I'm like, "What is going on?" And then
everybody was freaked out. My mom called me like 20 times, and I picked up. I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm okay." But
nobody knew what was going on until like 5-10 minutes in. So we were just kind of sitting there confused.
You have stories, but day to day, how do you feel in school?
safe. I feel safe. Yeah.
I don't know anybody in my school, and I feel like this depends on the community, but I know a lot of people, and we've actually talked about this in a lot of my classes, and nobody I know personally, at least as far as I remember, is not feeling safe on campus because they feel like there's going to be a school shooter. Like, that's just not the atmosphere. That's just not the vibe right now. And I feel like maybe students in Parkland maybe feel a different way because they had those experiences. But again, I feel like this solely depends on the community.
I have like a kind of a different perspective on this. Like in the mornings when like it's like there's a lot of people on campus, like because I attend a college campus, like I'm in a middle college, so it's kind of like weird, but I attend the college campus like all the time. And during the day I feel safe and everything because there's people, there's security. It's really, really like heavily like monitored. But I have night classes that usually run from like 6 to 10 at night, and it like recently there was someone that was dropped off in our campus loop and by like a Lyft or Uber driver, and they got a gun pulled on them, and I was in class during this time. So it's kind of like I get a bit more like scared at nights, like when it gets dark, because I have to walk from like my classroom to my car, and I always get kind of like scared, and I'm always like running to the building or like having like a walk buddy with me.
I think it presents a illusion of safety, because at school I do feel safe, but I think it's only an illusion because anyone can easily hop the fence. Like sometimes I do it to get to school when I'm like about to be late. There's so many holes in the fence. The security, there's I think 2 or 3 policemen for like 2,500 students or 2,600, and it's just not enough. And I think what happened in Parkland is there was a police officer there, but he ran away instead of actually confronting the shooter. So you can't really put all your trust into these people because you don't know if they're actually going to risk their lives to save you, or if they're just like, it's okay, it's like they won't really care if they lose their job, but if they lose their life, that's a whole another thing.
Okay, I'm going to change the subject.
Yes, please.
And if you could name one thing grown-ups don't understand about teens, what would it be?
That we're not lazy. We're not, like, yes, we act lazy. Yes, we like laying in bed. We like sleeping in. All of these lovely luxuries that we can have as teens because we don't have, like, we're still not old enough to care about, like, taxes and things like that. But we're not lazy. We have homework. We have things. We just are master procrastinators.
That's all right. Yeah, I think we're well-intentioned, but I feel like often, like, adults don't recognize how much, like potential that we all have, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. Like, a lot of people just put teens to the side. They're like, all right, you're not as good.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're kind of lazy. I'll be honest. Like,
I mean, I agree that I've had my lazy moments.
But, like, we're good intention.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. One thing that I don't really like, because especially now in the recent setting, it's just brought to my attention that teenagers in politics and stuff getting involved in like local activism, and I feel like the grown-ups don't really like trust us with this stuff just yet. Like the voting age is still 18, but I feel like that can be lowered to like, I don't know, 16 or even 13. I feel like people are responsible enough to vote
I mean,
at
you
that
can
age.
register to vote at 16 and be like active and like you can like participate in like helping at your polls or like driving people to the
Yeah.
polls if you have a license. But I think 18 is like a good age and you're mature. Like your maturity has like you're going through high school and like you're at this like mature level. So I don't think we should lower the voting age really.
But like, I feel like grown-ups don't really trust us in a sense for like politics. It's just like, oh yeah, you're just a kid. You're just a teenager. You don't know anything about like what's going on with this illegal immigrants or that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Are there any rules that you have to follow that you think are unfair?
I mean, my parents monitor our electronics, so around like 11:30 at nights for me, my phone disconnects from our Wi-Fi. So it's not really a rule I have to follow. Like I can always just like swipe up and go into like my cellular data, but like it's just kind of like irritating because like I might be doing homework or something like that, and then my computer just like is like disconnected from Wi-Fi, and I'm like, oh well, and then doesn't reconnect till like 7 a.m. in the morning or maybe like 6. But like I have to get up for work sometimes at 5, and I want to like check my phone and like kind of scroll through like apps and stuff like that.
Is there any? What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I feel like my parents set like rules and they expect you to follow them, and I like all of them I agree with. I think all of them are okay. It's just, yeah.
I have one thing to add to that. It's more of a school rule. So most schools in California, they have a closed campus during lunch, and that's sort of for safety reasons and also make sure nobody's skipping school or anything like that. Basically keeping kids out of trouble. But I feel like if we went back to the old system where we had an open campus during lunch, it would be better.
Well, I want to continue this conversation, and I hope we can. Thanks for watching. I'm Elizabeth Whalley, and this has been Ask a Teen.